Some people are born Jersey, and some people are...
Melissa, tell her to shut the fuck up. Tell her to shut the fuck up now.
Some people are born Jersey, and some people are born to...
Did you not hear me? I just told you to tell her to shut the fuck up.
But Margaret's gonna be mad at me.
And?
Margaret's gonna be mad.
Wow, typical Melissa. No loyalty whatsoever. You know what? Whatever, I don't care.
Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 12 of The Real Housewives telling other housewives to tell other housewives to shut the fuck up of New Jersey. But before that, as of today, April 20th, it is officially my birthday. It is my 29th birthday and I just thought that we should celebrate for a quick second before the review. So celebrate with me.
Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
So after a night of drink throwing, everybody wakes up the next morning thinking about what happened the night before between Teresa and Margaret. Frank, he's waking up with a huge giraffe between his legs. And no, not that type of giraffe. Because Joe, evidently, he packed a whole bunch of stuffed animals and a bunch of baby dolls that he got from where and why. And he put it all around the bed frame to, I guess, prank Frank. And I think he thinks it's funny. So that's that. So Frank, he gets up, he goes over to Dolores, who's in the bathroom. And I believe she was cleaning or something. She's stressed about everything that happened the night before. And she's like, I can't believe this. I couldn't sleep all last night. Like, this was just too much. And if it was me, I would have been like, okay, I mean, somebody got a drink thrown in their face. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight. Like, that was entertainment and it was food and it was free at that. Yeah, I'm going to sleep good tonight. So I'm not sure what Dolores is stressed about, as if she hasn't seen a whole bunch of drinks go flying across tables season after season after season. So I'm not sure why this is shocking to her. Dolores tries to defend Teresa by telling Frank, I just think that Margaret is just doing way too much. She continues asking too many questions to Teresa and I feel like she keeps butting into her life. And I think that she just needs to back up. And then Frank, I was surprised because he's just like, well, I'm not really sure what Margaret's doing that's wrong here. I mean, yeah, she's just inquisitive. And I'm just like, inquisitive? I don't even know what the definition of that word is, but something about that just doesn't sound right to me. I'm like, Frank, does Margaret have something on you too? Because at this point, I'm assuming that Margaret has something on Frank and Jackie because I don't get it. I'm not sure. I don't see what they're not seeing here in this situation. Everyone reunites downstairs in the kitchen and we find out that Margaret actually took over Teresa's room once her and Louie decided to leave the house and head to their own hotel room. Real Bad Girls Club style. I'm surprised Margaret didn't pick up the mattress that Teresa left and threw it in the pool somewhere in the backyard. And then Jackie, she mentions to the group, well, nobody really ate dinner the night before because Teresa was too busy throwing everybody's plate of steak, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, biscuits, lobster, and cocktails over at Margaret. So nobody really ate anything. So, I mean, that was just unbelievable. Margaret, she's just like, that was way too unprovoked. And then Jennifer jumps in and she's just like, well, didn't you call her a fucking liar? And I'm like, Jennifer, it's like 8 a.m. Like, what's with the potty mouth? Why are we cursing so early in the morning? We just woke up. Let me get my coffee first. Why are we dropping F-bombs so easily like that? Can I get some toast first? Margaret explains that she only called Teresa a liar because Teresa was accusing her of talking to these bloggers about Louie's past, all these scandals, all these allegations coming to light. Teresa thinks that Margaret is the reason why all of this is coming out to the public. And Melissa, she jumps in and she's trying to defend Teresa and Louie in a way. She's just like, Margaret, we all know that you're not the reason why all these allegations are being brought up to the public. We all know it's not you. We all know that it's somebody in Louie's past that is talking to these bloggers. But I think that the reason why Teresa's so upset at you is because you continue asking her about Louie over and over and over and she just doesn't want to answer to that. Margaret says, well, is that any reason for Teresa to throw a bunch of plates at me with uncooked steak, lobster shells, and a cocktail in my face? I mean, I went home a little bit tipsy because 90% of that drink that she threw in my face went down my throat and I swallowed. So I'm not sure. Is that any reason for her to do that? Jennifer, she jumps in and she's like, well, I mean, it was a constant buildup, Margaret. I mean, you kept poking at the bear. And then Margaret, she's just like, no, absolutely not. No. Karen mode activate. She is a dangerous human. I do not want to be around her. I need a restraining order. I do not want to be anywhere near her or the premises of Teresa. Jennifer also calls it out in her confessional, though, because I wish she would have done it in person. She's just like, well, Margaret is just being a huge hypocrite because just a second ago, you were saying that I pushed you to the edge where you had to reveal my husband's affair from 10 years ago. And now you're saying, oh, Teresa's wrong for doing this. I mean, Margaret, everybody has different reactions. Your reaction was to go on a low blow and dig up something from Bill's past and throw it in Jennifer's face. Teresa's reaction was to throw a bunch of plates and drinks in your face after you continue pushing her buttons. So if your mentality, Margaret, if Jennifer would have slapped you or thrown a drink in your face after you would have exposed her husband's affair from 10 years ago, would she have been wrong or right? I just want to know, because I'm not sure in what world Margaret is living in where she's allowed to do one thing, but then if you react to it, you have to have a certain level of reaction. Like, oh, you could react to it, but don't react too much. You don't know how people react. Just because Jennifer reacted with crying and sobbing and begging you for forgiveness and saying, oh, I'm sorry, I do take it too far, too much, doesn't mean that Teresa also has to react the same way. Now, is Teresa right or wrong for doing that? That's a whole different conversation. Nobody here in this whole, two wrongs don't make a right. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Margaret then goes back to explaining how she's gonna have this huge barbecue in the back of the house where everybody can sit down at the dinner table and eat. So she still doesn't want Teresa anywhere near her. But Jackie, she jumps in and she's like, oh, well, you don't have to worry about Teresa because I think Teresa's still hot-headed right now. So I don't think she's really gonna show up to the house. But then Melissa and Joe, they're like, Andy texted her this morning and he said that Teresa has to be there because this is the Real Housewives of Teresa. So, I mean, without her, we have no show. So she is coming, unfortunately. And you know Margaret was just like, just when I thought that I iced her out the group. Now that Margaret knows that Teresa's coming to the barbecue, she's just like, well, now I want an apology from Teresa. I want her to say sorry tonight. I want her to get down on her knees and kiss my big toe and give me an apology. I mean, everybody here in this room deserves an apology from Teresa with her actions last night, but I deserve it the most. So Melissa, she jumps in and she's just like, well, I just really don't think that she's going to apologize. I mean, honestly, I think that we should just stop questioning certain things in Teresa's life. That way she won't get upset with us and she doesn't, have these temper tantrums. And I'm like, Melissa, what kind of mentality is this? How do you want to be a housewife for next season with that mentality, being scared of her? I mean, I get it though, because you're technically kind of related to her because you're married to her brother, but I mean, that is just no mentality to have on this show. Why? Because Melissa's not the only one to have that mentality on the show. It'd be different if she was the only one who was scared of Teresa, but everybody on this cast, minus Dolores, maybe Jennifer, are scared of Teresa for some reason. Even Jackie jumps in and she's like, I don't get why Teresa's allowed to say whatever she wants about us and our marriages and all these rumors, but we're not allowed to say anything about her or her relationship with Louie. We can't question anything about her without her getting mad. And I'm like, Jackie, you also have a choice, but you choose to also back down to Teresa for some reason. I mean, you just said it last week on last week's episode, how you're scared to talk to Teresa because she might go off. Why are you scared? Is that table flip from season 1 that impactful to this cast where they're so scared of Teresa that she might do something to them? Like, no, if she throws something at you, throw something right back. I mean, I like Teresa, but no, I'm not bowing down to her. So I must give Margaret her kudos where it's due because she's actually standing up to Teresa. She's like, well, everybody else here could dance around with Teresa like that, but I'm not doing that. I'm going to speak my mind. And then Joe, her husband, he's like, oh, so Joe, if Teresa, your sister, comes in and she comes in high-headed and she starts trouble, what are you going to do then? And then Joe's just like, well, I mean, if anything happens, I'm going to take her out and I'm going to walk her out. I'm going to escort her outside from the dinner table. And I'm just like, that must be so sad to be in Teresa's position because you have like 20 cast members all ganging up on you. And then Jennifer, she's just like, well, honestly, Margaret, I just feel like you should just talk to Teresa and tell her, that, I don't get why you're mad that I'm questioning you about things about Louie. And then Tracy's just like, okay, let me practice my one and only line. I'm going to have this whole episode. Okay. What? What? Me. Okay, I'm ready. Scene? Okay. What? Like, her only scene. I'm like, why are you so dramatic about it? If anything, Margaret should be the one questioning Jennifer for saying that. Why are you so upset about it? I mean, Tracy, again, stay over there. Look at Tiki. He was eating yogurt, I believe, in the background. He's just like, no, I don't know these people. I'm just here for a paycheck through my wife. I'm just here for that. That's it. So Tracy, I'm not sure what your reaction was about. Dolores calls up Teresa to see how she's doing, and she also lets her know that she was gonna go with the rest of the women to the recording studio so they could record their album, Spice Up Your World 2, but instead she's pulling out of that, and she tells Teresa, you know what, me and you should go shopping one-on-one. Let's just go shopping, just me and you. And I'm thinking, Melissa, this could have been a perfect opportunity for you to step up to the plate and to call Teresa one-on-one and tell her, you know what, Teresa, me and you have some animosity, and yeah, we have a past, but you know what, I can be loyal to you for this second right here. Yes, I'm cool with Margaret, but I can have your back in in this moment as well. I just thought it would have been a cute moment between them, but she blew it. And on top of that, this is Dolores's event, and this is her trip, yet she's not even going to be a part of the activity. She's going to be babysitting Teresa, so that's unfortunate as well. Everyone is getting ready, and they're all meeting up downstairs, but the men are doing a completely different activity than the women. The women are going to record their song in a recording studio. The men, they're going on a mini yacht to go swim around in the lake. But as I'm looking at these outfits, Melissa took a picture with the group in front of the house, right? And on her Instagram, she posted the picture from this specific day. And I'm not sure if she was trying to be shady towards Teresa, because her caption, and I quote, it says, "Tell the truth. Aren't you ready to watch us girls have some fun? Aren't you sick of the miserable, nasty, and crazy?" And I'm like, who's miserable, nasty, and crazy? Obviously, I don't think you're talking about Margaret because you're friends with her. So are you talking about Teresa because Teresa threw the plates last week? Are you trying to take a shot at her, Melissa? Because I'm not sure if anybody watched What Happens Live, but Melissa was talking, and she said that after the reunion, she has not spoken to Teresa ever since. And I believe the reunion, it's been like, what, 3 weeks or a month now, I believe? Maybe a month now. And they have not spoken. So that's also interesting to know. Again, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it. So the men, they're going on again, like I said, this mini yacht. And I'm like, not another husband scene, another one. Like, why? Louie, he shows up as well. I believe he shows up in a car separate from Teresa, and he's a little nervous and stuff. And then I believe as they're on the boat, he's telling the guys, he's just like, I really feel like she's just not gonna give me a chance. Like, she doesn't like me or anything, like, at all. And then Joe B, Margaret's husband, he's just like, well, you know what? I just think that Margaret, she just really wants to get to know you. I think she just really cares about you. And I'm like, then we head over to the women. The women, they're getting to this recording studio. And as I'm looking at the woman that's talking to them, her name is ironically Teresa. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, wait a minute. Something is fishy here. Wait a minute. Aha. That's Margaret Sr. I'm like, who are you fooling? That is Margaret Sr. with a wig on. You mean to tell me that somebody who looks like Margaret just so happens to be called Teresa? Like, what are the odds of that? Like, no, I'm not buying it. Then these two guys with guitars come out and they're like, okay, so who's the one in the group that won a Grammy for her song On Display? Who was it? Was it you? What's your name? Melissa? Okay, Melissa. So we're going to make a song together here. So what are some ideas that the song should be about? Give me some ideas. And some of their ideas consisted of friendship, betrayal, surgery, fake lips. And I like how the guy incorporated that in a nice melody because he was just like, fake tits, fake lips, but we got a nice heart. I'm like, okay. I mean, it sounded catchy. I like seeing them come up with these struggle lyrics. And then we see Tracy. She jumps in and she's like, let's make the song about Louboutin on our feet. Am I going to be a full-time housewife next season? This would have been my version of the song if I had control of the lyrics. Teresa, she gets spicy like a pepperoni pizza. Melissa, if you left the show, we wouldn't miss ya. And Jackie, you and Margaret are really chatty. And Margaret, she got a drink spilled on her because she's a big shit stirrer. And Tracy, Tracy, the fact that you're a friend of the show, it drives me crazy. Ooh. Can you imagine if they took a bolder approach at making this song a diss track to Teresa and Louie? I mean, the song could have been called Fuck Teresa and Your Boyfriend, and it's just all of them talking shit on a song for 5 minutes straight, and then they perform it at the reunion for Teresa and Louie and Andy. I mean, then again, if that happened, this whole show is over. Like, Teresa would shut it down in a heartbeat. We finally see Teresa, and she goes into the store where they sell cowboy hats, cowboy boots. She's looking at all the boots. She tells the lady, oh, how much for these blue boots? The lady, the lady probably did her research on who Teresa was because she was just like, oh, those boots are $200. She was probably Googling how much Bravo pays Teresa because there is no way that those boots were $200. And you saw how Teresa was quick to put them back on the shelf like, oh, okay, thank you. I would have been like, lady, $200? No, I could get these at Walmart for like 15. Stop it. So then Dolores shows up and Dolores is just like, oh, hey, Teresa, how are you? Teresa is trying on boots and she tells Dolores, do you feel bad that you're missing out on the recording session today? And Dolores is just like, no, it's fine. I don't even know how to sing. They're probably talking shit about us in the songs anyway. Meanwhile, over at the recording studio, they're actually recording a song like on the microphone and they're singing into it. And I wish that they would have called Candy from the Housewives of Atlanta to produce this song. Maybe they could have been the next girl group. Like, who knows? Maybe this could have been the next Tardy for the Party. Maybe they should have jumped on the remix to Tardy for the Party. But they were all singing. They were all in good spirit. Did they sound good? I mean, again, they were just doing it for fun. But Melissa was taking it way too serious because as they're singing, they're all like, Old Mac bottle and take a seat.
See, oh, 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 see.
We see the guys over on the boat having a good time. They're all taking shots. Joe, he proceeds to take out this dildo and he puts it in between Frank's legs and then he starts cutting it with a pair of scissors. He cuts the entire shaft off. And I'm looking at Bill like, Bill, aren't you a doctor? Shouldn't you step in and say, wait, even though it's plastic, this is still illegal surgery in a way. He cuts the whole thing off and he tells Frank, oh, look, Frank, you finally have a pair of balls. Meanwhile, he takes the rest of the shaft, he fills it up with alcohol and he gives it to Louie. Louie just downs it in a shot and I'm like, oh, wow, like, my turn. Like, it looked fun, but I wonder if the activities were switched. I wonder what the men would have came up with recording in the studio. Like, I would have liked to seen them actually record a song and see what kind of foolishness they would have came up with. Teresa and Dolores are still shopping and Teresa tells Dolores, oh, I texted Louie and I told him not to get too drunk. I don't want him drinking a lot. Meanwhile, they pan over to the boat and everybody's getting shit-faced, especially Bill. I mean, Bill was just taking shot to shot to shot. He was drinking out of the bottle. They were all throwing each other off the boat. They were having a good time and Teresa, clueless to it. So she's telling Dolores like, yeah, I told them to just be safe. Meanwhile, Louie sends a selfie to Teresa. And as I'm looking at the selfie, I'm like, wait a minute. That selfie looks way too familiar. That whole pose looked way too familiar. Is it just me? Because it reminded me of at the beginning of the season where we saw that creepy video of Louie with the 20 men behind him that were shirtless. And he was asking for an apology for his wife and stuff. It reminded me of that. I mean, it was him with the phone in front of his face taking a selfie with Joe, Bill, everybody else behind him. And they were all shirtless. And I'm like, Louie, I know you're not bold enough to send her a screenshot of that video thinking it's funny. But no, it was a selfie. But either way, I don't know. I would have changed the pose or something. I would have took a selfie just by myself or something. Teresa's telling Dolores about what happened last night and how she blacked out. Dolores is trying to give her some advice. She's like, you know, I know you blacked out and I know you almost got your hands on Margaret, but you really need to calm down. You really need to just kind of squash everything out with Margaret. Just talk to her at the barbecue later. And Teresa's just like, no, she's talking about my boyfriend. And I'm like, Teresa, we get it. Take a shot every time she says boyfriend because it is ridiculous at this point. She's like, no, she constantly pokes the bear. And what does she expect? I mean, I'm not going to stay quiet. And I mean, I do understand Teresa and I get anybody who's constantly poked at, but I mean, at the same time, Teresa, you have to have just a little bit of restraint. Don't just give in to Margaret. You know Margaret is baiting you every single time, and you fall for it every single time. It's just like she throws the line out, and she's like, okay, let me see if I catch the fish. And then you go over, you swim to it, and you hook onto the hook. And she reels you in every single time. So you would probably win an argument with her if you would just to stay quiet or just ignore her. But then again, this is a reality TV show, so no, continue throwing drinks. But she's like, you know what? At the barbecue, as long as me and her are sitting way far from each other, I'm going to be sitting at this end of the table. She's going to be sitting over there. We're fine. She doesn't need to talk to me. I don't need to talk to her. She just needs to stay out of my life. All the women arrive back home from the studio and they're all in the kitchen wondering if their husbands are going to come back home drunk or sober. Next thing you know, we see all the husbands come back home completely trashed, especially Bill. Bill looks like Medusa with his hair all fucked up. His shirt was on backwards. Frank, he looks like he's 2 seconds away from falling over. Both Joes also look like zombies. I'm not sure how they even made it into the house. Like, I was smelling the screen. I'm like, ooh, it smells like alcohol and I'm not even there. And next thing you know, we hear a knock at the door. And I'm looking at the woman who's holding this huge box. And I'm thinking, wait, is that Tracy? Did we accidentally lock her out the house? That is so fucked up if it was true. But it ends up being somebody else. Tiki goes over to open the door. And I'm like, okay, he's obviously thinking that this is Tracy. Because I'm thinking it's Tracy too. But no, she's just like, hey, so I'm the person that is in charge of the whole barbecue. I'm going to set everything up, the decorations and stuff. So I'm just here with my huge with my huge box. Wow. What's your name? And Tiki. I mean, I know you have to be friendly and stuff, but Tiki was, I don't know, something about it was just a little too friendly because he was just like, oh, hey, what's your name? And she's just like, my name is Abby. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm Tiki. How are you? She walks right past him and she's like, nice to meet you, Daddy. I mean, Tiki. Yeah. So where should I put these decorations again? You said in the back? Okay, yeah, I like it from the back too. I mean, yeah, I'm heading to the back right now then. Yeah, I just have this huge box right now and it's so full, but maybe a couple more things could go inside this big box. But I'll be in the back if you need me, okay? Yeah, I'll just be over there, okay? Setting up decorations, okay? So it was lovely meeting you, Tiki. I need to get your autograph before I leave. Yeah, no, it was lovely meeting you. Tell your wife I said hi. What's her name? Trey, something like that. Yeah, let's just call her T. Or let's not call her at all. And Tiki just looks like he's ready to risk it all for this woman as she's walking away. He's just like, okay, Abby, I'll see you later. Yeah, I can't wait to eat some barbecue food later. I eat everything on my plate. Everything. My plate is always finished because I'm a good eater, if you know what I'm saying. I'll see you later tonight, though. And I'm like, Tiki, did your next wife just flash before your eyes? Everyone is finally ready for this barbecue, so everybody has on their cowboy hats, their cowboy boots. Bill, he looks so adorable in his cowboy hat. They all head to the back of the house where the barbecue is taking place, and then they're greeted by this man who also has a cowboy hat, and he's telling them that he's gonna teach them how to line dance. And honestly, I must give the husbands props for filming this scene right here alone, because just a second ago, they were drunk and could barely stand. Next thing you know, now they're circling around and just doing a bunch of dances in circles, and they spun around a couple of times, so I'm shocked that none of them threw up or they all have the energy to do that, because if it was me, no, I'm going upstairs and I'm sleeping. But props to them. They all had a good time dancing around. Teresa, she also showed up with Louie, and she looked so good in that bodysuit that she had on. I believe it was snake print, aka Margaret print. She went into it with caution, but she still managed to do her little two steps. Everybody looked like they were stomping on roaches, but they had a good time. And then next thing you know, the women are like, okay, we want to perform our song that we just recorded earlier. So they were performing and they sounded like a bunch of dying cats. But, they had a good time, and it was okay. They all knew what it was. It was that. And then what was so hilarious that Jennifer, I think I'm not sure if this was part of the song, but she was just like, we're all best friends. And Teresa was quick to say, no, we're not. She was like, no, we're not. She was so quick with it. I'm like, damn, Teresa, can't you just have fun? Calm down, relax. Teresa came in looking for a fight. That's the type of vibe that always kills everything, because everybody's having fun and you're the only one there looking miserable. And then you have to drag Louie into it. So he has to be miserable by accompanying you. He can't have fun because he's just like, well, I can't have too much fun because then Teresa's going to be mad at me. So it's pretty sad overall. Regardless, they all sit down at the table to have food, and it was pretty awkward. I mean, you could cut the tension with a knife or a cowboy boot, because Margaret, she's on one side of the table, Teresa's on the other with Louie, and nobody's talking. Everybody's just chewing at each other. Chewing on the food and looking around like, okay, what's gonna happen? Teresa, she makes the first move and she's like, I just wanna talk about my actions from last night, and I just want to give a brief apology for almost whooping Margaret's ass. I should have thrown a couple of more drinks at her, and she just provoked me, and I just really wanted to get my hands on her. But security, they grabbed me, and Andy told me that I'll probably be a friend of the show next season if I actually put my hands on Margaret. So I just want to say, I'm so. Yeah, and I'm just like, what kind of apology is that? What? I felt like that was a threat for a second. And Margaret is whispering to Tracy, you hear that? What kind of apology is that? And Tracy, I don't think I'll ever see it for Tracy. I think it's episode 12 now, and it's just nope. Because Tracy's just like, yeah, I can't believe it. What a fucking bitch. Why is she, what kind of apology is that? You deserve so much better, Margaret. You're the queen of New Jersey. Why is she talking to you like this? This is disgusting. And I'm like, Tracy, just be quiet. Why are you inserting yourself here? I wish that Teresa would have heard Tracy whisper that underneath her breath. But Margaret's just like, no, I'm not accepting that apology. What is this? No, I'm not doing that. No. You're saying that I provoked you? What is that? No. And then Jennifer, she tells Teresa, I don't think that Margaret is accepting your apology. Teresa's just like, wait, what? What's going on? And Jennifer's just like, yeah, no, I don't think she accepts it. I don't think she's happy with it. So Teresa's just like, you don't accept my apology? You don't accept my apology? Margaret's just like, well, what part of the apology are you talking about? And Teresa's just like, I just said that, you provoked me. You provoked me. You pushed my button. So that's what it was. Margaret's just like, you know what? No, Teresa, me and you are done. Forget this. I don't need an apology. It's fine. Teresa starts getting upset. She starts getting upset with Melissa out of all people. And she's like, Melissa, tell her to shut the fuck up. Tell her to shut the fuck up. And I'm just like, but why though? Why does Melissa need to tell Margaret to tell her to shut the fuck up? Like, I don't get the correlation there, Teresa. Again, I'm not sure. Again, you know what? Let's get to the bottom of this, because just like I mentioned earlier, the issue with the Housewives of New Jersey is that they all kiss Teresa's ass and they're all scared of her. So she feels like she could control anybody. That's why she feels so bold to talk to Melissa and tell her to shut the fuck up. And then Teresa had the audacity to tell Melissa, I swear to God. And I'm just like, you swear to what? Like, if I was Melissa, I would have gotten up. I would have been like, you know what, Teresa, let's go have a cowgirl fight in the bushes right now, because who are you talking to like that? Like, I swear to God, like, and if I don't tell her, then what are you going to do? What's going to happen? Like, are you going to hit me? Are you also going to throw something at me? Are you going to throw a drink in my face? Like, absolutely not. If I was Melissa, I would have been like, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, let me get back to my cornbread. Like, no, Teresa, you're not scaring anybody. And it's just, again, it's just such a shame that Andy or the producers or Bravo, they're not seeing this and they don't decide to like recast this entire cast. I mean, like I said, I feel like Jennifer needs to stay, Margaret stays, everybody else goes. Like, everybody else needs to be recasted, because this cast is just it's not gonna continue the show on, because they're always gonna be kissing Teresa's ass, aka making this the Teresa show. And I like Teresa, but I just don't like everybody always bowing down to her. Like, I get it. She's been here since season 1 and she's the OG, but at some point, okay, and what does that mean? Next thing you know, Teresa also starts mentioning something about Margaret, like, oh yeah, I didn't eat dinner last night because I threw all my food at her, but I know that Margaret ate. And I'm just like, now what does that have to do with anything, Teresa? Like, why do you have to, I'm assuming that she was body shaming Margaret because she kept repeating it over and over, like, oh yeah, Margaret, I know that you ate. I know that you ate. You always eat. And then Jackie jumped in and she's like, Teresa, I don't like that you're always making fun of my friends like this. I don't like that you're body shaming her. And Teresa, again, you are body shaming her, and let somebody say something, anything about you like that to you or Gia or Louie. Next thing you know, it's a whole issue. So it's just like, I get it that Margaret was snooping around with Louie and constantly questioning things. But I mean, she wasn't body shaming. Yeah, she was doing something that pissed you off. But if you're going to try to attack her, say something else about her. Talk about her marriage or something. Like, say something else about her house, her furniture, anything else but her body. Margaret eventually has enough of Teresa, so she gets up and she's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm done with Teresa. There is no going back from this. So she walks away with her husband. And eventually everybody starts dispersing from the table as well, until Teresa is left with just Melissa and Louie. And she's upset with Melissa. And I wonder how Louie feels in this whole situation. I mean, he probably feels embarrassed. Like, wow, like everywhere I go, my girlfriend is always causing drama everywhere. I mean, I get it that this lady is messy and she's trying to be nosy about my past, but damn, Teresa, like, give it a break. Can we have fun at least one episode? And again, just like I said last week, I feel like it's Teresa's time to go, because one, it's not fair that she's constantly miserable or always defending her relationship or her marriage on this show, and she has like 20 people coming at her and it's always one versus everybody else. That's not fair, one. Two, again, like I said, it's always going to be the Teresa show. Everybody's always going to constantly be kissing her ass because they're scared of her, because she might do something, apparently. I'm like, if I was y'all, I would be like, okay, do something then. Why should I be scared of Teresa? But that's just that, and that's the way the episode went. And I guess the barbecue, I wonder if everybody finished the food. And that was the episode, everybody. What did y'all think about this episode? I mean, I thought for this episode to be leading up to the finale next week, I thought it was it was okay. But I mean, I wouldn't have minded if we just skipped to the reunion next week instead of a finale, because at this point, this cast has become very just like repetitive. It's just like, it's always the same thing. It's never fun when it's just one housewife versus everybody else. That's never fun in any city, not just Jersey, but in this specific city itself, it's become tedious just always going at Teresa constantly over and over and over. And this is why production, Bravo, Andy, anybody who's watching, they need to let Teresa go. Not because she's a terrible person. I like Teresa, I do. But it's just like, she needs to go, or else the show is never going to evolve. It's just always going to be centered around her. And again, that becomes repetitive and people are just going to be like tuning out. And I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that there needs to be a shakeup here, or Teresa needs to go, Margaret needs to go, somebody needs to go? I'm team nobody at this point. But let me know what y'all thought about this episode and what y'all thought about Margaret versus Teresa round 2, probably round 3 next week, down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everybody. Mwah.